Komodo Dragons. Introduction. Komodo dragons are the world's largest lizards. They live wild on only a handful of islands in Indonesia. Although their favorite food is the rotting bodies of dead animals, they are also fearsome hunters. They eat many types of animals, including younger members of their own kind. Female Komodo dragons, kept in zoos, have reproduced without the help of male dragons. Here's Komodo dragons were unknown to Western scientists until 1910. They discovered them. Only 100 years ago. With its long, sharp claws and scaly body, the Komodo dragon lives up to its name. Do those look like dragons, Freddy? Henry, do you think they look scary like dragons, or are they just big lizards? A real dragon. From every corner of the world and for many hundreds of years, people have told stories about dragons. In fairy tales, these strange and fantastic creatures have the body of a serpent, the claws of a lion or tiger, and the wings of a giant bird. Some are ferocious, breathing fire from their mouths. Others sleep for centuries, guarding stolen treasure. Perhaps you've heard a story about a dragon, or maybe you've seen the dragon dance in a Chinese New Year parade. Do you remember those in Hong Kong, Henry? But do dragons really exist? If you don't think so, you might be surprised to learn that there is a kind of dragon alive today. Meet the Komodo dragon, a very rare animal that not many people know about. Komodo ID. A fully grown dragon is a fearsome sight as it strides across the dry earth of its island home. Look at how big that is. It's about as big as Daddy. Komodo ID. Komodo dragons cannot breathe fire or fly like the dragons in stories. In fact, they're a kind of lizard. You might have seen lizards before scampering around in rocks behind rocks or basking in the sun. So what makes Komodo dragons special? They are the largest and heaviest lizards in the world. The biggest males grow to around 10 feet long. That's almost twice as big as Daddy. And can weigh as much as 300 pounds. Females are usually smaller. Despite their size, Komodo dragons can run quickly over short distances, up to 11 miles per hour. It takes several years for Komodo dragons to reach a great size. Although scientists who have studied them in the wild are not sure exactly how long they live, most estimate that the largest dragons are at least 50 years old. The Komodo dragon is part of a large family of reptiles called monitor lizards. Other kinds of monitor lizards, such as this Nile monitor, are found in many parts of the world, from Africa to Australia. Here's one hiding in the grass. They had big monitor lizards in Thailand. They were nice, though. They weren't mean. They were nice. Komodo dragons belong to a group of animals called reptiles. This large group also includes snakes, turtles, alligators, crocodiles, and other lizards. Reptiles are air-breathing, cold-blooded animals. A reptile's body is covered with tough, scaly skin, and their young hatch from eggs. Did you know that lizards hatch eggs? With their muscular legs, scaly body, long head, and thick tail, Komodo dragons are easily confused with crocodiles. In fact, the name that local people give to the Komodo dragon is Bujadarat, which means land crocodile. Unlike crocodiles, however, dragons live and hunt mainly on dry land. They're able to move quickly over difficult terrain. Young dragons can even climb trees. It's hard to imagine a crocodile doing that. All right, Dragonland. Komodo dragons live wild in a small group of islands that lie at the edge of the Indian Ocean between Asia and Australia. These islands, Rinjda, Flores, Komodo, Gili Montag, and Gili Dasami, together with thousands of others, make up a huge country called Indonesia. Surrounded by warm tropical seas, the weather in the Dragon's Kingdom is usually hot and dry. But during the rainy season, which runs for a few months each year, regular thunderstorms make everything very wet. There are only about 5,000 dragons left living in the wild. In an effort to help protect the Komodo dragons, the area has been made into a national park. Sailors beware. The quiet coves and beaches of Komodo Island hold a hidden danger. Dragons. That's what their island looks like. Harsh terrain. Most Indonesian islands are covered in thick tropical rainforest. where many different types of animals flourish. But the islands that are home to dragons are dry, rocky, mountainous places. On the tops of the mountains, bathed in clouds and sea mist, grow dense forests of trees. Lower down on the slopes, tall grasses flourish. These are grassy areas called tropical savannas, are very dry, and fires regularly break out, burning many of the plants. Very few people live in the islands because of the lack of fresh water. Komodo dragons, however, are well suited for life in these difficult conditions. They climb over the island's rocky slopes with ease and can survive for long periods of time with very little water. A dragon's favorite place is between the forest and the savanna, where it can easily find both sun and shade. Here's a dragon basking on a rock warmed by the sun. You see the grass and the dry ground in the dry savanna, tropical savanna. All right, Island King. Because fully grown Komodo dragons are the biggest and strongest animals on the islands, they have no natural enemies. Now and then they might get injured attacking one of the large wild boars or water buffaloes on which they feed, but the greatest threat they face is from other dragons. When fights break out, they can easily injure or kill one another. Sick or wounded dragons are sometimes eaten by other members of their own kind. Young dragons must be careful too, especially at feeding time. If they do not stay out of the way of larger animals, they risk being eaten themselves. Millions of years ago, another group of reptiles, the dinosaurs, ruled Earth. Today, Komodo dragons rule their islands. These fearsome lizards are the closest we can come to seeing what the world was like in the age of the dinosaurs. Here's an adult Komodo dragon surveying its domain. You see that rough, scaly skin? It's so dry. Okay. Dragon food. Komodo dragons are meat eaters. Their favorite food is soft, rotting flesh. When the animal dies, a smell of its decaying body or a carcass can be found for many miles. Dragons are very good at picking up these scents. They sniff out the carcass or the dead body and enjoy an easy feast. Dragons also hunt other animals for food using their sharp claws and their strong teeth. They can attack and kill prey as big as or bigger than they are. The deer, wild boars, and buffalo that share the dragon's islands are all hunted. Often a fully grown dragon will wait near a water hole where the other animals come to drink. Hidden in the long grass, the dragon is not seen by its prey until it is too late. In an instant, the dragon pounces and grabs its next meal. This deer is cautious because these shady trails are prime hunting spots for Komodo dragons. That's the kind of deer they would eat. Hunt and kill. They are fearsome. Big appetite. Komodo dragons are not the most delicate eaters after a kill. Rocking back and forth on their strong legs, they tear the carcass into pieces using their sharp teeth. Without bothering to chew, they then swallow the chunks of meat whole. Because they don't know when they will next find food, dragons will eat almost all of the carcass. A Komodo dragon can eat its own body weight in food in just one sitting. If a person were to try to do the same thing, he or she would have to eat several hundred hamburgers. After a big meal, a dragon can go for weeks without eating. So here is a frenzied or a crazy mass of dragons pushing and shoving one another to get the last few scraps of meat. Whoa. They're all trying to eat that meat. Sharp teeth. A Komodo dragon has about 60 curved teeth beneath its thick, fleshy gums. To help grip prey, the teeth are razor sharp and point backwards into the mouth. Dragon teeth are perfect for slicing and tearing. Each tooth has a serrated edge like the blade of a saw. That means it goes up and down like a saw. And can easily cut through the toughest meat. When a dragon feeds, old and damaged teeth often fall out, but new ones grow quickly to replace them. Most dragons will go through 4 or 5 sets of replacement teeth in a lifetime. How many sets of replacement teeth do you get? You just get 2 sets of teeth, baby teeth and adult teeth, and after that, halas, no more. A dragon's most important weapons are not its sharp teeth, however. The deadly bacteria or germs it carries in its mouth are much more dangerous. The wounds of an animal that has been bitten by a dragon but escaped often become badly infected. The weakened animal then becomes an easy target for the dragon. So animals infected with bacteria from a dragon's mouth often die within a few days. Look at that mouth. Oh, it's full of germs and bacteria that will kill its prey if they bite them. Then they'll sniff out the carcass and eat it. Making the rounds, Komodo dragons like to stay in an area they know well. In its own neighborhood, the dragon has all the things it needs to survive. There are burrows where it can rest at night and find shade during the day. There are places for basking in the sun, a water hole for drinking, and trails for stalking prey. This area can be quite large. Dragons may travel up to 6 miles each day searching for food. Some Komodo dragons, called transients, do not stay in one area. They prefer to move around the whole island. The transients are usually younger dragons that have not yet found a more settled pattern of life. But some adult males also choose to live this way. A dragon strides across the savanna. Look at its long, stretchy neck. Sharp smell. A Komodo dragon has a very long tongue. Humans use their tongue to taste food, but dragons, they use theirs to smell. Although it can see and hear well, a Komodo dragon relies on its sense of smell to help it find food. Swinging its head from side to side, the dragon flicks its tongue in and out continually. That way it hopes to pick up the scent of a wounded animal or carcass. Sometimes a dragon will climb to the top of a hill so that it can sniff the air for scents carried by the breeze. By doing that, the dragon can detect food from many miles away. So look, it looks like a snake, a dragon using its tongue to sniff the air. It sticks that forked tongue in and out to smell. Comfortable home. Each Komodo dragon has a few favorite burrows scattered around the area in which it lives. Some resourceful dragons claim natural holes between rocks or among other tree roots. Others use burrows made by other animals, such as wild boars or porcupines. These holes are often left abandoned, but if the original owners are still there, an adult dragon can usually persuade them to move out. When no ready-made holes are available, the dragon has to dig its own. It often starts to dig on the side of a hill or in the bank of a dried-up stream, where the soft earth makes the job easier. Dragons can dig a hole for 3 feet deep in less than an hour. Once done, the dragon enters the burrow head first, curling its long tail back around its body so that both head and tail are left poking out of the entrance. Komodo dragons return to their burrow to sleep at night and to rest during the hottest part of the day. Here it is in the dirt. A burrow is a hole in the ground where lizards and other animals live. Warm and cool. Humans are warm-blooded. They have a body temperature that remains constant at about 98 degrees Fahrenheit, no matter how hot or cold the surroundings. Komodo dragons, like other reptiles, such as snakes and alligators, are cold-blooded animals. The temperature of their body varies or changes all the time, depending on the temperature of their surroundings. That's why in the morning, when a dragon leaves the dark, cool burrow where it spent the night, it looks for a sunny spot to warm itself up before the day's activity. Later in the day, when the sun is strongest, it's common for a dragon to be back in its burrow or in the shade of a tree where it cools off for a few hours. Here is a dragon resting on a rock and basking in the sun. It's kind of reflecting. Do you see its claws? Ooh, yeah. Getting together. Most of the time, Komodo dragons live on their own, but occasionally they gather in groups. That usually happens when several of them are attracted to the same carcass to feed. Dragons are not well behaved at these meetings. The largest animals will often try to keep all the food to themselves by frightening the younger and smaller dragons away. At times like that, big Komodo dragons can be very aggressive. To make themselves look menacingly, they arch their back and lash their long tails, sometimes making an angry hissing sound at the same time. They might even puff up their loose skin around their throat like a balloon, making themselves appear even more scary. If the bigger dragon still doesn't get its way, it may attack, injuring, or killing its opponent. So here's a picture of a fight beginning when the dragons gather to feed. Oh, it's on top of the other one. You see its long tongue used to smell? All right, finding a mate. Komodo dragons are loners for most of the year. However, during the breeding season, which runs from May to July, adult males search for a female partner in order to make baby Komodo dragons. When she is ready to mate or have babies, a female dragon releases special chemical signals. Any passing male picks up these signals with his excellent sense of smell. Sometimes two male dragons compete for the attention of the female. When that happens, a violent fight can break out between them. When fighting, Komodo dragons rear up on their hind legs and wrestle until the stronger male scares the other away. When the winner is determined, the male approaches the female dragon and bites her tenderly on the neck. Sometimes she will reject his advances, biting and scratching him before running away. Usually, however, the mating is successful. After 1 or 2 months, the female is ready to lay her eggs. So here a male dragon may follow a female around for several hours before they mate. Here's the male in the back. Here's the female that he wants to make babies with. Dragon eggs. When a female Komodo dragon is ready to lay her eggs, she looks for a good place to hide them. Sometimes she'll find a convenient spot between some rocks, but usually she digs a hole where the eggs will lie safe and warm. Inside the nest, the temperature is about 82 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the perfect temperature to incubate eggs. About 20 eggs are laid on the nest. Each one about twice the size of a chicken's egg. Although the female conceals her nest by filling the hole with leaves and soil, some eggs are usually found and eaten by other animals. After 8 months, the remaining eggs are ready to hatch. The little dragons break through the shells and clamber to the surface. Each baby is about 1 foot long when it emerges. Unlike the adults, they have dull gray skin. Unlike adults, which have dull gray skin, young Komodo dragons have yellow spots and stripes all over their body. These markings help protect the youngsters from predators by acting as a disguise. Among the leaves and barks of the trees, their patterned body is difficult to spot. While adult dragons live most of their life on the ground, baby dragons spend almost all of their time up in the trees. They're good climbers and like nothing better than to scamper around the branches all day, catching insects, birds, and small lizards to eat. Young dragons often climb as high as 45 feet, searching for food or for a place to take a well-earned rest from the frantic activity. Komodo dragons have good color vision, but they cannot see well at night. Well, that's interesting. They do not see well at night. So they're not nocturnal. They don't hunt at night. I bet they hunt during the day. Growing up, young Komodo dragons grow quickly. After a few years, they are too big and heavy for life in the branches. At this time, they come down from the trees to start a new life on the ground. Young dragons must be very cautious. If they're not careful, they can easily be attacked and eaten by the wild dogs, large snakes, and wild boars that share their islands. They are even at risk of being attacked by adult dragons. In the commotion that follows a successful hunt, the bigger dragons have been known to attack and eat the youngsters. Scientists who study the wildlife on Komodo Island have found that 1/10 of fully grown dragons' diet is made up of younger members of the same species. They are cannibals! As they grow larger, young dragons start to lose their bright markings. As they grow larger, see? Here's one that's changing from yellow to gray. All right, a refreshing drink. It's not always easy to get a drink of water on Komodo Island. There's a shortage of water for most of the year. For a few months during the monsoon season, it rains almost every day, but most of this water flows straight down the island's steep slopes into the sea. A little rainwater collects in water holes where all the island's animals, including the dragons, go to drink. A Komodo dragon taking a drink is an impressive sight. First, it plunges its head into the water right up to its eyes. Next, it consumes a lot of cool, refreshing water. Then it holds its head high to let the last few drops trickle down its throat. A good time to see a dragon drinking is right after he's eaten a large meal. The water helps the dragon digest its food. They require very little water to survive. Do you see he's drinking some water out of the pool here? He's tipping his neck up so the drops run down his throat. Taking a dip. Komodo dragons spend most of their life on dry land, scurrying around their island home, hunting and scavenging, basking in the sun, or even sleeping. Occasionally, though, the larger dragons decide to go for a swim. Local villagers have seen them swimming between Komodo Island and some of the very small islands or islets that lie off the coast. Usually they do that when fishers have stopped to dry out their catch on the island's beaches. The scent of the fish, carried by the breeze, wafts across the water to the dragons on the mainland. The lizards then swim across, looking for a tasty snack. The strong currents around the islands can make the journey difficult. The Komodo dragons are strong swimmers. Keeping its legs at its side, the dragon uses its strong body and tail to move through the water. So here's one resting on the cliff above the ocean. I'd like to see a picture of one swimming in the water. Dragons in danger. As soon as they heard stories about the dragons in the 1900s, hunters and animal collectors rushed towards Komodo Island to kill or capture their creatures. A belief spread among some merchants that the tail of a dragon, when ground into powder, was a powerful medicine. Some thought that could even stop a person from growing old. Hundreds of dragons were slaughtered, and the species was in danger of being wiped out. Today, the Komodo dragon is listed as an endangered species. It is illegal to kill, buy, or sell dragons, and their numbers are no longer falling. If the Komodo dragon is going to survive, it will continue to need our protection. However, the few thousand dragons that are left all live in a tiny area that is at risk from natural disasters such as earthquakes. So now that Komodo dragons are protected from hunters, they thrive on their harsh island. Look at those guys, wow. Pretty cool. Beware of dragons. Almost 2,000 years ago, Chinese pearl fishers first landed on Komodo Island. They marked on their map, "Here there are dragons." Since then, people have found reason to be scared of these formidable animals. We now know, of course, that Komodo dragons aren't really fire-breathing monsters. But if you're ever lucky enough to meet one, be careful. There have been a number of reported human deaths caused by Komodo dragons, and villagers on the island sometimes lose pets and farm animals to dragon attacks. One unfortunate explorer vanished in mysterious circumstances on Komodo Island. Despite the efforts of his companions, who sent out a search party to look for him, he was never seen again. No one knows for sure what happened to him, but many island people believe that he was killed and eaten by a Komodo dragon. The end. Komodo dragons. Love you, Henry. Love you, Fred. Have a good day.